I'd like to start with a little personal story of my own. In my 20s, I was kind of crazy and jumped off stages and did a lot of mosh pits. I hurt my back. And since my early 20s, I've had chronic back pain. About 3 years ago, I started working with Renee and we started developing the Academy of Mindful Movement. I've also started taking NIA classes with her. As the years have progressed, I found the chronic back pain becoming less and less. I rarely get a flare up in my back. So this is kind of a broad question, but what is it, Renee, as a coach or instructor, doing, helping me with myself so that my back pain is not there as much anymore and almost gone?
Okay, I'm going to assume that I'm not giving you private instruction about
No,
specific moves for you to do.
she's not my personal trainer. She's giving me some kind of technique for my life that has helped me. And it's supported in her NIA class as well. Kim, you're on mute, by the way, just if you want to. I didn't know if you were gonna speak up. Okay.
Go a little farther, Douglas, and tell the specific story of you're about to go on a big walk with some friends.
Well, it's something that I do with everything in any movement that I make in my life now. It's just part of my life. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, so you know
Okay.
when you were going to go on that hike.
All right. So I was going to go on a hike on one of the trails here. It's about a 3 mile hike. I was waiting for all my friends to come and I was there early. I was kind of moving a little bit and stretching, doing my stretches to get ready. I felt a twinge in my back. Whenever I feel that twinge, that's like, uh-oh, here we go. This could be a flare up and I might be out. I just started talking to my body and saying, look, what do you need right now to calm down? I'm going to take care of you during this hike. I'm going to be really careful. Don't flare up because I'm gonna listen to you and I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that you can be comfortable. I just kind of sat there and brought that into my body and I felt the twinge kind of go away and I was able to do the hike and I didn't have a flare up even afterwards.
Great.
What do you think I was doing here? What was I doing?
Besides talking to your body.
Yeah, besides talking to his body, what did he start with? What did he start with before the talking to the body?
He felt a twinge. He was alerted by something.
He didn't just charge up the hill, right? He actually paid attention to what was speaking to him in the body. And
In the past, I would have pushed the pain, tried to push the pain away or ignore that it existed or said, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to push through it and go. Wasn't working for me, obviously, in the past because
one of the pillars of the Academy of Mindful Movement is awareness of body sensation. Many of our techniques depend on making our movers, helping to make our movers aware of their body sensations. And I want
to share one of the standards we have here, Academy, is listening to body sensations. This is in our body strand that we use in the Academy. The mindful movement instructor pays great attention to their own body sensations, especially in determining how to move.
So wondering how you as an instructor, a coach, in Sarah's case, although she doesn't, and she's the one with the wild hair, also a professional dancer. She's got her performance on to, or her costume on to perform in one of the Iona Contemporary Dance Theater performances. However, she doesn't usually teach dance, and she's a body worker instead. And so she makes use of this idea of making her massage clients aware of body sensation. How do the rest of you find it helpful to make your movers aware of body sensation? What do you do? We have Hara on the line. Dustin Hara is a voice coach, and he has been through the Academy's level 1 training. And so he's developed some experience with this as well.
With Tai Chi practice, it's all about the mind connecting to the body in any movement that you make. So it's really like being able to focus and pay attention to the feelings in your body. So that's kind of the whole practice, really, from the Tai Chi perspective. With self-massage, when you're massaging yourself, you're not just going through the motions of pressing your body, you're trying to focus there. That's really valuable because in the Tai Chi classics, they say where your mind goes is where the chi goes. So your vital energy goes there. So that's really important in terms of balancing your energies for your body.
From the little bit of Tai Chi I've done, there's something called Tingjing energy.
Tingjing is the skill of listening, you'd say.
And in particular, listening to body sensation.
I don't use that term in relationship to your own personal body. I use that term more in terms of when you're, so to speak, sparring with somebody else in an actual one-to-one combat situation. I use it more in that situation.
So but you're more listening to them.
Yeah, you're more listening to them. Yeah, and their movement in relationship to you.
I see.
Yeah.
And what about when you're doing the doing? Do you have people listen to their body to know where to be applying the different doing tip?
No, that's not exactly what we do. We just basically have a systematic sort of going through every part of your body. And so it's like getting them to be acquainted with their body in a very systematic way, making that relationship a little bit more intimate, where the mind and body connection is there. Yeah, that's what that's about.
Okay, thank you. Jim, are you the coach or instructor of a movement practice, or a highly interested mover and student?
I don't teach any practice. I'm just really interested in this and learning a lot more of different types and how to listen to my body. I learn a lot from Kumu. Molia has taught so much on listening to your body and moving.
So she's somebody who has been through the Academy of Mindful Movement 3 times. And and also she has been a student of mine in NIA for 14 years. So yeah, that wasn't something that she used to do, because that wasn't something that came from her.
Right. It's really, I'm learning a lot, and I don't get to take your class all the time because it kind of conflicts sometimes with the schedule, which it always does. But I've even noticed the little classes that I'm taking, I've learned so much from you, just way of moving and feeling. When you're listening, you can enjoy what you're doing instead of being in massive pain or stopping. So I really appreciate that and want to learn more from all of you.
I'm going to tell you a little hint for myself as a layman, because I'm not an instructor. I'm a teacher trainer. But I just have a constant dialogue with my body and questioning it, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm moving in the seat in my car, when I'm standing chopping vegetables, when I'm drinking a glass of water. Now it's become so automatic with me that when I'm listening and having that dialogue with my body's saying, maybe you might want to move that. When you get into the car seat, you might want to put your back down first and really go in that seat as you enter. I see my friend, he always has problems. He just plops on the couch so loudly. It's like no awareness of body sensation at all. So that's one thing that I do, just that constant dialoguing with my body, asking it and seeing what it's telling me as I move throughout my day.
I appreciate that. You don't think about that every day of getting in a car or standing, but learning from Kumu and Renee, I'm learning to, oh, I got to move instead of just sitting there and letting the pain get higher and more intense.
Yeah. And how do I move in ways that prevents that from even getting
Yes.
started?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so becoming like having these little antenna out all
Mm-hmm.
over the body, like, oh, that hurt last time. Let me see how I can explore my way into this move to find a better way of doing it this time around, so I do it safely.
If you have pain, it's speaking to you, isn't it? It's yelling at you, it's screaming at you.
Yes.
Make sure that those body parts that are screaming at you, that's what you want to start dialoguing with in your movement as you go throughout your day.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that because my lower back is one of them that I'm really trying to get more in tune with.
Try to reflect on when that flare up or that pain happens and what actions or movements you're doing, and then
Okay,
try to figure out dialogue with your body to make it less.
great. Thank you.
Douglas was telling me this morning how nowadays his body doesn't have to scream at him. It can just whisper to him and he's picking up those signals before
It's whispering to me without it. It's like whispering to me automatically. I know this sounds really woohoo out there, but it's just changed my life so much because I have more communication with my body now. It's communicating with me without me even asking. It's constantly communicating to us. All we have to do is listen.
Well, Doug, when you were talking about how you go through the day and all of your movements, it kind of reminded me of this whole movement going on about mindfulness. The movement is all about being mindful in everything you do. They're not saying to focus so much on the body like we are talking today. They're just talking about your emotions, your thoughts, your actions. It's still a valuable practice. This mindfulness that you're speaking of, mindfulness of the body is where we're specializing, but it can impact other areas of your life to be more mindful as well.
In training one, we do focus a lot on the body. We call it the Academy of Mindful Movement. However, we have 4 strands. So we do have the mind, the body, the emotions, and then the self. Training one does primarily focus on the body, but we do refer to all of those strands because we do consider that as a mindfulness practice.
Sarah, I don't know whether you can weigh in here. From my understanding, in a Vipassana silent 10-day mindfulness retreat, that's where you start, is awareness of body sensation. Is that
Right.
correct?
In a meditation perspective, I guess, there's the sense doors you can focus on. You can focus the sense doors, whether it's the mind, the sound, touch, sight. But this lineage of Vipassana, they say it's the easiest to focus on the sense door, which is the body sensation. So you start from that. You start from and getting more aware of these, more subtle, more subtle, more subtle. Our initial sense of body sensations might be very different from when we have a practice of this. They say even to the point of, they call it kalapas, which is like the little energy, like cells that are moving or atoms that are moving. Eventually you feel the atoms moving throughout your whole body. And you see your body in a state of constant change with these atoms. I'm guessing once you're at that level, you're going to feel before you do something that's going to bring you pain if you're straining your body. There's going to be a very high level of awareness. There's a whole journey of what even awareness of body sensation means. There's this initial, a little bit more blunt, and then we can get more and more finite.
Whether you're starting with a sitting meditation that you're just really sensing what's going on in my body and what parts of my body. For a lot of people, a sitting meditation of that sort, especially if you're talking about doing it for a whole hour, let alone 10 days, is quite daunting. If you find out that actually you could be engaged in a moving practice, and if you are being instructed in that practice in a mindful way, you can be enhancing this awareness of body sensation during the movement practice, so that once you leave the practice, you have this kind of stimulated awareness that begins to seep into the everyday life.